Ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, welcome to the X Fan Show Afternoon Delight. I am one of the hosts. Dirty Arlington is preoccupied, but I have a special guest for us today. We met the man in Vegas. He might be the biggest influence in the XFL fan base that I've seen, and he might just be considered and been dubbed the mayor of the XFL, the one and the only Mr. Van Hurst. How are you, sir?
I'm having a great day, Dirty. How is the beautiful city of St. Louis this morning?
We are covered in a dense fog and it's raining. So,
Okay, then put down the ashtray and get out of the shower. That's all I can say.
right, exactly. So, Van, how are you? Thank you for joining us. Hey, Van, before we go any further, I just got to say it was a pleasure meeting you in Vegas. I know that we've corresponded a few times over, phone calls, emails, text, all that. But it was a great pleasure to meet you and hang out with you in Vegas for the giraffe, sir. I have to say that
Oh,
first and foremost.
just meeting you in Arlington and spending that couple and a half days. That was amazing. It was amazing to share the camaraderie of the XFL fan nation. I mean, I really enjoyed it. I learned a lot from you folks. Had experiences that I will never be able to duplicate again. I am so appreciative of you guys coming.
Yeah, it was a fun time. And let's talk about the biggest. Let's talk about the biggest thing because I know you're not a rumor guy, but let's talk about the biggest rumor out there in the XFL world, the Vegas. But we found where they're going to play at, right across the street from the Apex Center, right at the Wad Woodson Sports Complex.
Oh,
I mean,
absolutely, absolutely. But everybody keeps discounting what's going on with local politics
hmm
and business operations in Las Vegas. During the before you got to Vegas, I went to the Vipers fan activation event where they introduced Coach Woodson and his staff to the Vipers fans. And at that event, I actually ran onto a high school football coach. He's a retired Army major. He works at Cheyenne High School in North Las Vegas. They have a very nice facility that seats 5,000 people. The interesting part about the deal is the OSU, as in Ohio State University of High School Football, is not in Texas. It is
no,
in Las Vegas. It is the Fertitta Stadium at Bishop Gorman High School. It is a Class A junior college, small university facility, and nobody talks about it. These options are on the table.
yeah, and it's funny that you say that nobody talks about it because we had talked about it. We actually started doing a lot of digging, right, into different things. And that school that you mentioned actually has some ties to the UFC, and where the USC actually has some ties to the XFL, which I thought was funny. It seems like that these connections that The Rock has and Danny has and Redbird Capital have with all these people is they're just spreading out into their other connections throughout the media and sports world. I mean, do you think that has something to do with it all?
It's called networking. Anybody that's successful in business networks, and they are leveraging this networking they've got. If people don't know the name Fertitta, as in Fertitta Stadium at Marshall Gorman, that
Mm-hmm.
is the two brothers that own the Station Casino properties in the Las Vegas area, and
Mm-hmm.
previously were the majority owners of the UFC.
Correct.
Connect the dots. Let's play connect the dots all day. It's not rumor, it's fact. There are there are intertwining actions between the UFC, XFL, I hate to say it, the WWE, the whole entertainment world. I ran across a piece, and I don't remember if I told you about it or not, but we were actually looking at what used to be the William Morris Agency. And we're
Correct. Yeah.
finding out that it is another Redbird capital. It's got its fingers everywhere,
Hmm.
absolutely everywhere. And The Rock is part of that client base. So nothing is off the table at this point in time. I just think it's business people and politics, and we'll have a stadium. I'm thinking within the week, but
Yeah.
that's me. It's 73 days out.
Right. Yeah. Exactly. So, you have Brian here. You have Brian here that says I graduated from Cheyenne High School, class of '99. You have a local guy here in St. Louis says Mark Bland's wanting to talk. This it says this dude is wanting to talk politics. No, we're talking about the politics in the Vegas of trying to get their stadium all squared away. Is what it was. We don't talk politics on this show, just sports politics. Now, I mean, it was funny before we came on the air, man, and I know that you really have your ear down to it, and you're always kind of watching everything about who's being hired and all of that stuff. But of course, now as I try to scroll to find it, of course I can't find it. But XFL just hired somebody new today. Actually, I'm getting to it, so hold on. I'll have it right here. And this, I found this from. I'm going to give credit to a guy up there in your area, Reed, the Markcast. Says Stephen Lowe joins the XFL 2023 as the director, marketing and content of the Dallas or of the Arlington Renegades. He spent 16 years with the Tiger Cats and the CFL. Now, if you go to the guy's LinkedIn page, right, which I'm going to zoom in on, I'm going to go into that and show you. I know that you're not going to be able to see because you're kind of on a smaller screen, but I'll read it to you, right? So right here it says Stephen Lowe was the director, marketing, partnership, brand sales, content, and digital. He says, I am thrilled to announce that I'm joining the XFL as the director, marketing, and content for the Arlington Renegades. I want to thank everybody who has played a part in the process and thank you for entrusting me in with this opportunity. He goes on to says he's looking forward to working with Anthony Zaguna, MBA Courtney what is her name? Overbees, and then Charles Johnson. And then it breaks off his thing, and then it's that the Hamilton Tiger Cats. Here's the thing I find funny, Van. January of 2015 to October of 2020. That's what I find funny. So what has he been doing from October of 2020 till 70? What is it? We're 76 days away from kickoff.
73.
73. So what has Mr. Lowe been doing from October of 2020 to December 6th of 2022? Now,
That's a need to know basis, and you don't need to know.
but now here now Mr. Mayor. You know me. I love making speculations all the time on the show because you'll call me up and say some of my speculations are really out there. And I was like, it's just all for fun, right? But I have said in the past, it seems like the XFL, and I love the Steve Largent shirts. One of my second favorite receiver next to Jerry Rice.
Oh, absolutely. But yeah, no, these guys, in this sports media world, seem to be labeled as consultants for a long time, and
Mm-hmm.
then they get hired directly. So you don't know, have they been out there? Have they been working with the property? Have they been working with the league, working with the team, or have they just been, doing some soul searching or continuing education or ice fishing if you're up in Canada? Who knows?
I
But
mean, that's where he was in Hamilton, so he might have been doing some ice fishing up there.
we don't know. But I'm just so happy to see all of this fan engagement starting up. Did you see recently what we did last Saturday in Seattle?
Well, I'm glad you said that. So let me do this. Let me get to it because I did see it. Let me pull it up. I'm going to actually pull up the actual Sea Dragons page. But yes, that's another thing. I'm actually so excited that we're starting to see fan engagement starting to happen, right? And let's see. Actually, there's a couple things I want to talk to you about Seattle because so that's another reason I'm glad you're on. And because of that, you guys up there in Seattle, you guys had the second best fan base last year or in 2020 compared to the Battlehawks fan base. But right
No,
here,
no, no,
December
no.
3rd.
Correct yourself. We had the better fan base. You had the higher walk-up ticket sales.
You think that's what it was? You think that's what it was?
If I'm serious, go back and watch the social media that was posted in March and early April of 2020 and see how loud and proud the Dragons fan base was in Lumen Field.
Oh
It
yeah, I
was
mean,
it was it was called Century League back then. There
right.
we have the fan base. You folks have the ticket sales. There's a big difference in my world.
He goes, yeah, okay, whatever Andrew says, okay, yeah, okay, whatever you say, Mayor. But look, I'll agree with you. I mean, the two hottest fan bases in 2020 were definitely the Dragons and definitely the Battlehawks. If the season would have kept going, I think those two fan bases would have carried that league in 2020 and possibly even further to where we are now. But you never know. The pandemic hit, right?
Yeah, I should mention for those that don't know, I actually have season tickets in all eight stadiums this time around, and I had them also in 2020. And I attended week four in St. Louis, and I spent 5 hours out pregame walking around through the tailgating, walking around through that stage over between the casino and the dome. And I got to tell you, from that standpoint, you guys own the pregame. You guys absolutely own the pregame. I mean, Oliver Luck made a point of making sure that I set enough time aside to go out and spend that 5 hours walking around.
All right.
So the pregame you own, but once we got in the stadium, I think Seattle owned it.
All right. Well, I'm glad you mentioned that. So let me ask you that. You said you had season tickets for all of 2020. You have season tickets again for all of 2023. Like, what was it like going to the different cities back in 2020? Like, and then when you came to St. Louis and saw the way that we did our tailgate here in St. Louis and all that, like, what was your impression of it all? Like in the other cities besides St. Louis.
Well, we kicked off the initial game in DC with the Defenders. That was game one, Seattle Dragons versus Defenders in Audi Field. Audi Field is sterile. It's kind of like Seattle. There's no real tailgating going around, and there's no restaurant bar district close to the Audi Field. The bars, like Walters, DC, is up by Nationals Park. So it's like 6, 7, 8 blocks away. I can't remember how far it was. But then we had to walk down. So Audi was, it's a soccer stadium. They had a couple inflatables outside for the kids to play on, but it really didn't live up to my expectations from attending hundreds of NFL games over the last 40 years. Um, but once inside, it was a nice stadium, excellent views, good concessions, plenty of restrooms. One of the unique features about Audi Stadium is they have a glutton pass that goes with the premium seats. What I mean by that is it's 2 beers in your hands, free. You show them your wristband that says you're in the premium seats, free. They got a snack table, free. You want hot cocoa, free. You want soft drinks, free. And you have full indoor club access if the weather gets bad. That's a unique partnership at that stadium between Levy concessions and whoever operates Audi Field. And when I bought my tickets, I was assured it's the same situation coming up. So
Nice.
that is really a nice premium experience. And in Audi Field, because it's a soccer stadium, I
Hmm.
actually have field seats, turf level field seats with a gate that goes between me and the end of the visitors bench. I mean, we walked out there, we did a pregame tour, we hung out on the field, We talked with then President Jeffrey Pollock, Commissioner Oliver Luck, and other people, and just had an absolutely roaring great time. Seattle, it's an NFL stadium that's built specifically to focus sound back down on the center of the field. You will
Right.
never experience a stadium like Lumen, CenturyLink, Seahawks Stadium, whatever name they want to throw on it this 5 year rotation. But I recommend that people come out and just understand how crazy it is in there. It was mentioned during one of our events Saturday by the social media manager that the coach is asked for the fans to supply a playlist of loud music that he is going to be blasting during all Sea Dragons practices to get the players used to operating in Lumen Field. He wants to be able to use that 12th man advantage that we have in Seattle to get false starts and just drive the opposing offenses crazy.
Now, well, hey, this is the X Fan Show. The Afternoon Delight Show. You can catch us on Facebook, you can catch us on Twitch, and you can catch us on our YouTube page. Now, you talk about Seattle, which I think is really great, but here's your event done on December. This was from December 3rd, and this is from the Sea Dragons actual page. So it's at XFL Sea Dragons, capital S and capital D. So make sure you go like and follow it. Now, you like you said, you've heard me and Arlington talk about bake the cookies, right? Well, it's funny. You guys had what a day. We had fire breathing cookies from Hello Robin Cooks, giveaway from exclusive new swag and a great opportunity. Now, this is what I like right here, what you guys did up in Seattle. A great opportunity to FaceTime with both of your quarterbacks. And if you see the picture right here in the bottom picture, right here, I'm going to click on it. Right there is a young man talking. I don't know which one that is. I think it does look like it's Ben DiNucci because I can see something along the hat. You guys actually got to talk to your quarterbacks. I mean, to me, that's just amazing. And I think what your girl up there in Seattle is doing with these fan engagements with this fan engagement was amazing. Like, how was that engagement and getting to talk to your two quarterbacks?
Well, it's our girl, believe it or not. Haley Lynch is not only the current Sea Dragons social media manager, she's also double dutying as the St. Louis Battlehawks
Huh.
social media manager.
Looks like
So
I got to talk to Haley.
there might be some more cookies in the oven someplace. Just for reference, so you know who that young man was holding the phone, and that was Ben DiNucci.
No,
That's
no,
Matt Lyons of XFL News Hub.
no, that was him.
Yeah, that's Matt Lyons.
Okay, okay, all right.
So,
So there we go.
so Reed Johnson held the phone and kind of did the thing when we had Steven Montez on,
So
and
here's
then
I'm going to
yeah,
that picture. Go on.
and then when it came time, and that's there you go. That's the back of my head, my fire breathing orange shirt.
Yeah, that is
Um,
you.
and then when we had an opportunity to talk with Ben DiNucci, then phone got handed over to Matt Lyons.
So
So
here's what I like.
uh,
I like the lady right here who kind of looks like the Khaleesi from Game of Thrones. She's got the dragon on her. She got the sea
she
dragon things.
she
You
calls
know,
herself Mother Dragon. She calls
okay,
herself Mother Dragon, and
kind of
she
like
was
the
around in
Fireball.
2020.
Oh, okay. So you guys had the crazy fans like we did that would dress up and stuff like that, then, right?
Oh, absolutely. Is there a picture there of Scorch?
Well, I
Here's a
am
young
gonna
man.
find.
Here's a young man that won a drawing. These are the draft hats. These are Under Armour draft hats that are allegedly going to be on the XML shop for all 8 teams here coming up pretty soon. But if you go back to when they introduced the quarterbacks
Uh huh.
on the 15th of November, they were wearing these special Under Armour hats. So they handed out a 10 or a dozen of them during the event. And There he is. There's a guy that talks about cookies all the time, and I got to eat them. And I'll tell you, if you're in Seattle, local brand Hello Robin Cooks has got some wonderful habanero orange infused chocolate chip cookies.
Well, ladies and gentlemen, let me welcome my partner in crime with his poop eating grin on his face. Would you like to introduce yourself, sir? You're just gonna sit there and smile. Oh, he's gone. Okay, never mind. He's gone. He may came back. So yeah, I'm trying to look for Scorch, but I don't see Scorch yet because there's a couple other things. All right, but let's get back to the fan engagement thing. So then, as I scroll up on Twitter, right, I notice this from the Sea Dragons. If we take some of our new players around Seattle, where would you guys go? So now, Van, you know me, Mayor, you know me. I love conspiracies, right? On this show, I love throwing out speculations on this show, right? Are we maybe looking at some more events
Oh, I don't think
around?
we're. I don't think we're looking at more events. We just need to know what date they are. I think they're happening. They're happening, and if we're getting them, and Haley is your social manager, I think that you guys are going to get something going. The one bad thing about this event was it was
Mm-hmm.
a private invite to Twitter followers. It was not released out through Instagram. It was not released out through Facebook. And there was some serious hard feelings about people that weren't one of the 50 that showed up at the event. And I think that you're going to see that they're going to kind of do a litmus test of fans and fan engagement by
Mm-hmm.
rotating through the various social media. So, I know there's people say I'll never have a Twitter account, or I'll never have an Instagram account, I'll never have this, I'll never have that. You might want to think about opening your horizons, or at least finding somebody that has those horizons open so they can whisper in your ear and say, hey, this little event's going to happen. You might want to be at X and X a place on the X and X a day and enjoy it. And it was absolutely wonderful. There
I
were
mean,
about 50 people showed up.
uh huh.
Reed Johnson, like I said, from the Markcast, Matt Lyons from uh, XFL News Hub, and then my section. I sit in the south end zone at Lumen Field, and there was 8 people from my section there. We were well represented, so it was kind of nice to just reconnect with these just fans. It was just really a great event. I had worked overnight on snow removal at SeaTac International Airport. I'm on the snow team there. And during the event, which happened at noon, it was 50 and sunny, and all the snow had melted off. It was just absolutely a crazy event. Now,
Oh,
you know,
man, that's
alluded
awesome.
you alluded to the fans coming and visiting, or I'm not
Mm-hmm.
sorry, not the fans, but the players coming and visiting. There has
Mm-hmm.
been massive feedback of a list of places to go for these folks when they show up in town. I mean,
Well,
everything from waterfalls to
let's get
Boeing factories to the Coast Guard.
Let's get to it. So we've had some people say the gum wall. We had our very own Jason Ganella, the guy in charge of all of the tickets for the league. He says he says a Kraken's game. We had another person say the International District to find noodle soup as hot as dragon's breath. Let's see. Next door neighbors, the Krakens again. Pioneer Square around 10 p.m. Let's see. San Juan Islands, Pike Place Market, Fremont. I mean, the list just keeps going on and on. Where you guys are just saying where to go to. Here, somebody says the Cuff. I'm trying to look at the ones that are a little more appropriate. You know what I'm saying? A lot of them are like, you need to go to some bars. It's the afternoon show. We can't talk about going to bars in the afternoon. Uh, Here's another ferry ride. Somebody says their house. I don't think that one's going to happen. Do you think that'll happen, Mayor?
I think that would not cross the COVID litmus test. I don't think you can get a COVID clearance for the players to go to somebody's house.
Right. Here's one says East Lake Zoo, and then now I'm surprised that this one is on the very bottom. Show them all the needles on the ground around the Space Needle. Oh, never mind. But yeah, maybe take them to the Space Needle, right? But
Oh,
forget that.
absolutely. Absolutely. World's Fair 1962 iconic fixture of Seattle. Everybody's got to go up there and see the view. It's just absolutely amazing because a lot of people don't realize that 5 blocks from the Needle on the west is a part of the Pacific Ocean, the Puget Sound. It's saltwater, it's right there. And from the Needle, you can look 22 miles to the east and see Snoqualmie Pass. And Snoqualmie Pass is closed regularly for snow removal, traction, accidents, whatever. We have a saying here called "mountains to sound." In 30 minutes, you can go from 10 feet deep snow to the beach. We're an amazing place, and there's a lot of place for these players to go check out.
Right, yeah, exactly. Okay, so here we got a couple things Zach wants to know. Where can I go see a Vegas Viper game at this February? Hey, we told you it's the Rod Woodson Sports Complex right across the street from the Apex Center. That's where you can go and see it at. I have a feeling that it's going to be coming out very, very soon, but that's just my opinion. I don't know.
Well,
That's just my opinion.
I'm thinking the same thing, but let's look at maybe what we've heard from KSDK in St. Louis. Maybe they won't play at home in February. That's
Maybe
kind
they
of what
will.
they're saying about the Battlehawks. They're saying Battlehawks will be a road team first 2 or 3 weeks. You know, maybe the
Yeah,
Vipers will be in the same situation.
right, exactly. Now, it's funny that you say that because, I mean, it's funny because, I mean, right now, if you look on Twitter or social media right now, right, the most active team on all of social media is your team, the Sea Dragons. So Haley up there is doing a great job on everything of what she's doing, right? So here I got a question for you. I want to show you this. So it says, ready to unleash the rains of fire in Seattle. It has a Seattle Sea Dragon hat. Now we've noticed this box that the XFL has showed in some of their stuff as of late, right? And let me zoom in to make it a little easier for you to see. We have noticed this box as of late. And as you see, we see some initials and some signatures, but it says, "Welcome to the XFL. Dream X opportunities. Tomorrow's league starts today." Now, Mayor, you
So
know me.
do you know who got this box?
Well, I mean, I can tell it's on a washer and it's on a washer.
No, this was the box that was sent to our first round offensive line draft choice. This was his
Oh,
welcome to the Sea Dragons. If you go back and see who actually posted it, like I said, he was round one, pick three. That is our one of our offensive linemen. So that's his
oh,
draft box that he got.
okay, okay. It's Chris Owens, but here's me. Me, you know me. I love these conspiracies, right? So we see the hat. The box still looks closed. Doesn't look like it's open, right? Me, I'm thinking that might be their jersey in that box. That's just my opinion. I don't know if it's true. I'm just saying. I think it's the jersey. That's what I think.
Well, do we go with the good old social media internet rumors? Um, we might see what's in the box tomorrow. That's what some people are posting out there. That
That is
San
true. Oh,
Antonio's had a couple of people saying that we're getting jersey reveals tomorrow. So who knows?
right.
Hey,
And see,
Arlington.
did he freeze again? He froze again. I know they've been having some really bad weather down there in Houston. So let me do this. Let's see if I can get him back up. But see, Brian says right here, he says the hanger is the clue. That's where he's going to be hanging his jersey. Just couldn't take a picture of it. But you are right. We have seen that the Brahmas on the Brahmas fan page, they did say that. Now, again, me, I love speculation, and I've noticed over the last few weeks with the XFL, last few months or anything with the XFL, right? Most of their stuff is released between Tuesday and Thursday, right? Uh, It always seems to be a significant day for them too, right? Now, I know last week, a few weeks ago, I said that December 13th because Brian, we did some, significant stuff, right? But now Jimmy's kind of agreeing with you right here. He says uniforms, yes. Tomorrow, yes. We have a few cookies left in the oven. Is it really going to be the uniforms, or would it make more sense to be the schedule? Me, I would prefer to see the schedule. Which would you prefer?
Personally, I'd be happy with just the first opening weekend of the schedule. People kind of want to, plan family events, plan life events, whatever. If we could even get just one weekend, the February 18th, 19th schedule, that'd be great. But let's go back to 2020. All right.
Mm-hmm.
When were the uniforms revealed in 2019? Do we remember? It was on December 3rd. When was kickoff in 2020? It was February 8th, correct?
That is true. Yeah.
So let's go forward. If we want to use that same amount of days notice, now we're dealing with the 18th. That's 10 days later. So we have all the way up until next Tuesday to be on that same timeline for release of the jerseys. So we're not late. They're not late. It is what it is. I think that's what's holding up the jerseys right now
Mm-hmm.
is the fabrication of either the can't think of the term for sublimated fan versions of the jerseys and the
Mm-hmm.
authentic jerseys. I think getting them into the distribution center in Groveport, Ohio, is the issue right now. I think once they're fully stocked and they can blast out, here's the shop live, here's the jerseys, because the fans are going to go absolutely nuts for we got to own the jerseys. What's the guy that's not showing up? What's he say? Give me the money. Give me the money. Take my money. Take my money. Take my money.
I think he's there. I think we'll be able to hear him on video. Are you there, dude? Still can't hear him.
Yeah. But
Still can't hear him. So I'm gonna remove him again. All right, get rid of him again. I
but
love it.
anyway, either one, like I said, just even the first week, so people can, have something to chew on as far as the schedule goes. Where the road teams are.
Hmm.
What time of day each channel is going to have their games. Hey, got a question for you. I've heard some rumors when I'm talking with people that attended the Anthony Beck Russ Brandon event that was hosted
Uh-huh.
by a certain NFL commentator's wife that she asked a question. Can you answer me as to
Well,
what she might have said about her family members?
I got one better for you. Boom, right here. So last night I'm watching Monday Night Football, right? And I posted this great picture. I said, imagine for XFL games of 2023, we get to hear the goats of football broadcasting, Joe Buck and Troy Aikman, right? It's really interesting to me that now Michelle Buck was at our event and hosted our town hall, right, with Coach Beck. We can't say that, Jimmy. That's a bad word. But Jimmy says that duck them idiots in all capitals. We can't say that. They're much better than Jim Nance and Tony Romo, that's for sure. But anyways, he had said he she had said, "Hey, wouldn't it be great if we heard Joe and Troy on XFL games?" Now, Van, as we do know, Troy Aikman and Joe Buck worked for ESPN. Who is the
Now,
ESPN partner? Yeah, now who is the ESPN partner?
Well, and let's dig a little deeper into this. This is fact. They signed for some money that was unreal. These are like, industry changing contracts, not life changing contracts, industry changing contracts for what they're getting paid. Now, when Mr. Buck was with Fox, he broadcast Major League Baseball in the spring.
Mm-hmm.
That is not on the agenda that has been mentioned anywhere now. So
No.
this life changing, industry changing money, could it have been intended to include XFL broadcasting through 3.5 months in the spring?
Well,
I think it's a real possibility.
I'm glad you say that. So let me do this. Now this is from Yahoo Sports. So I pulled up this nice little article. ESPN poaches Joe Buck and Troy Aikman from Fox Sports in a sports media stunner. The landscaping shaking deal in the sports world. Joe Buck and Troy Aikman will depart Fox Sports for new roles at ESPN in a deal estimated worth 30 million annual for the duo. So now they're talking of getting $30 million for these two guys, is what they're paying these two guys, right? Look, Pat, I have a feeling Pat McAfee will be back, but I think Pat McAfee will be more of a sideline guy again, right? I do know I do know that somebody had said in one of the posts. I'm not going to go digging through all of the posts because it blew up last night on my on their Facebook page. They said that Buck and Romo that Buck and Aikman were terrible, but really are they? I mean, they're two of the best in the game. I mean, Joe Buck is a legacy, whether you love him or hate him. Troy Aikman might be the second greatest Dallas Cowboy quarterback to ever play, and probably one of the most smartest quarterbacks to ever play the game of football. You know, knows this stuff. Joe Buck definitely knows this stuff from his dad. If you listen to interviews, if you're ESPN, you spent $30 million on these two dudes. Why the hell wouldn't you put them on an XFL broadcast and make them your number one team?
And bring that credibility to the league. Bring that forefront premier game of the week to the
Mm-hmm.
league.
Yeah, I mean, think about it. Who are you going to have? Scott Van Pelt and Mike Florio? Two dudes who bash the league?
Or Chris Collinsworth.
I mean, Collinsworth's terrible. Al Malkiels is terrible. Jim Nantz and Tony Romo are boring. I can't stand watching those guys. On football. I mean, when they're doing their broadcast, they don't really get the ratings like Buck and Aikman got. Nowhere even close to it. Romo's a complete. I mean, I'm not a Romo fan. Never was, and never was a Jim Nantz fan, right? But it's just like you said, the credibility that you automatically bring to the XFL with having Joe Buck and Troy Aikman as your number one broadcasting team. It makes sense to me.
Okay. Do you remember looking back at 2020 at the Arlington/Dallas Renegades social media? Did you
Mm-hmm.
happen to notice who was hanging out on the 5 yard line sideline at every one of the Renegades games in that year? Do you know who
Troy,
that was?
Troy Aikman.
Right.
Troy
Had
Aikman.
no direct coaching relationship, no broadcast relationship with the
Nope.
league, but he was there. He was interested. He was involved.
Yep. I mean, other than him having his deal with Daryl Johnson, the Moose, that was it. He was there at every single game. You know what I'm saying? For the Renegades. I mean, please, somebody tell me a better duo than those two guys right there. You can say what you want, hate on them all you want, but tell me a better duo than those two men right there to call a game. Other than, I mean, like me, I would love to see Summerall and Madden call an XFL game, but we're never going to see that. You know what I mean? I mean, Brian says Michael Strahan. I like Strahan,
I've never
but
seen him call a game. Have you?
no, I mean, I see him on Good Morning America.
If I had my dream duo, it would
Hmm.
be Dan Fouts and
Okay.
Mike Golick Sr.
Oh,
That
I
would
like
be
that.
my dream duo.
I like that. See, it would still be Madden and Summerall, just so I could hear Madden go. You see, he got up into this hole and then boom, and then he came across here and boom. That's why I'd love to see Madden. But I do like the Golick and Dan Fouts. That's a good one.
But
That's a
but
good
they're
one.
still broadcasting and they're still live. That's why I throw them out there.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. I got it. Oh, here we go. The brother Hog Zach says he hate me and Tommy Maddox. That might be interesting. I mean, that might be as bad as me and Arlington doing an XFL game. But I think I might sit down just to hear it one time to see what happens. You know what I mean? Uh,
Well, are we going to have the X fan cast, kind of like the Manning cast on the side? Are you going to try it one game?
I'll try it. I'll reach out to the league and see if we can broadcast the game while they're doing it. I don't want to get in trouble with the league, but I mean, we might do it for a game and see what happens. You never know. It might be something fun. Bring people on and interview them just like we do in the Manning cast. Well, now that you speak of that with the Manning cast, right? Who works for ESPN also? The
The
Manning
Manning
brothers.
brothers.
They're getting paid big money. So why wouldn't they do a Manning cast type of game like that? I mean, I can see him doing it. Michael says, he goes, would be cool to see some of 1.0 and 2.0 players calling games. Okay, I can see that. I could go with that. I'd be
Yeah,
okay with that one.
there's a couple of people like uh, Kenneth Farrow. Kenneth Farrow is well spoken. I think that he could be
But
what they
then he
call
gets
analysts now. They used to call them color commentators. I think he'd be a great analyst. There's some other folks out there that um, isn't there a guy that played in St. Louis that has a radio sports talk show in like Nashville or someplace?
Bruno Reagan.
Does that
I'd
ring a
love to
bell to
see.
you?
Yeah, I'd love to see Bruno Reagan. Oh yeah, he got picked up. Kenneth Farrell got picked up by the Arlington Renegades right now. So
Awesome.
he's on their roster right now. Let's see. Look, we got people going now. We got people going right here. The brother Hart says PJ Walker is a sideline reporter for that duo. All of the past generations of the XFL can be represented with the win. Okay, I like that. Here's another one. I think the Mannings might be a little too critical on the XFL. We don't know, but listen, we know this. We know that the Mannings and The Rock, they got a bromance, the three of them together. So we know that, right? So I don't know if they'd be too critical. And then Michael's saying Murray is calling college games. I don't think that's going to happen. I don't think Michael. I don't think they're going to. I don't think the Rock's bringing anybody from the WWE, Brian. I don't think he is. I don't think Michael Cole will come back. So, uh, I don't think. I don't know. I think it would be interesting with the XFL. I mean, you know, maybe using the Mannings in that way. You know what I mean? Like,
Well,
would you tune in to watch that?
you brought up Pat McAfee. I'm
Mm-hmm.
loving his pregame college Saturday stuff. I think that he would be the lead into the game of the week. He would be an outstanding desk jockey for that.
Right?
What do you think?
Listen. I love McAfee. I love McAfee. Love McAfee. I think McAfee and AJ Cole or AJ Hawk from the Pat McAfee show. I think the two of them would be like do it on YouTube though. You know what I mean? Broadcast it on YouTube. Have the Pat McAfee show calling the XFL games on his show with AJ Hawk. I think the two of them would be great together. Or have them doing like the pregame leading up, like you said. Yeah, give me any Pat McAfee and I'm there. I'll watch it. I love Pat McAfee. Love him. I'm all
Yeah,
for that.
because he said when he did the sideline in 2020, that
Mm-hmm.
wasn't his cup of tea. He really didn't like it. And I hate to cross lines, but Brock Heward, a local guy here in the Seattle market, UW alum, Seahawks alum, Pure
Mm-hmm.
Vikings alum. He's
Mm-hmm.
flopped back and forth between Fox and ESPN over the years. Currently, he hosts a radio show on ESPN Seattle.
Oh,
So I
okay.
don't know necessarily if he's going to go back and do USFL sideline reporting during season 2 with the USFL. He might be available also. He also does analyst role in college football. So, there's another one to throw out there. Is he coming back to do the sideline? I think that, from 2020 and from the USFL season 1, I
Mm-hmm.
think that Brock Heward is the gold standard, the platinum standard, the black card standard, whatever you want to call it, for sideline reporters. And I'd really like to see him back with the XFL.
I agree with you on that one. I think that would be a great choice. I mean, yeah, that would be easy. I mean, again, but who? I mean, nobody has put up anything over here. What about a former Giants head coach who was just released his book? Are we talking about Tom Coughlin? I wasn't big on Coughlin because Coughlin did a few broadcasting. I wasn't big on him. But I mean, to get instant credibility for a startup league, right? Why not have the two biggest names in broadcasting with Joe Buck and Troy Aikman? So like right here, so I mean now the brother Hawkeys want to go more St. Louis style. Kurt Warner, Marshall Faulk, Steven Jackson, Isaac Bruce. Kurt Warner, yes. I don't think the XFL will touch Marshall Faulk for the stuff, past stuff. Steven Jackson, I don't know. Isaac Bruce, no. I, Listen, I love watching NFL Network and listening to Kurt Warner, Rich Eisen, and Mariucci and Irv all calling games. I think they're great. I just think they're going to stick more with ESPN people. That's just my opinion.
Well, yeah, you're going to always, deal from your own deck. You're not going to be going out and borrowing somebody's cards to play a high stakes poker game. You want
Yeah,
to know what's in your deck, and like like the mystery guy that's not on the screen with us right now says, they hold their cards close to the vest. So
mm-hmm.
everything we said might be true, or everything we said might be hogwash. But that's the great thing about being a fan, is you get to dream, you get to hope, and you get to make suggestions. So like the fan engagement, like I said, Haley Lynch is also involved with you guys. Have you guys ever thought of suggesting to her, where you could go maybe get some cookies, some local ice cream, some
I have
local
reached.
barbecue, or something?
Yep, I have reached out to Haley. I have not heard back from her yet, so I'm just waiting to see. I am more than happy to help her. Take her to around some of the local St. Louis things, and show and that would be really good for her, you know. But yeah, I'm just waiting to hear back from her. Here's somebody said John Elway, Tim Tebow. Tebow was okay, but again, I think they're going to stay more towards the ESPN type of broadcasters. That's just my opinion.
So, what kind of cookie would be appropriate to a battle hawk? A fire breathing
Mm,
orange chocolate chip was very appropriate to breathing fire,
that is
which, like I
true.
said, Coach Hazlitt is embracing the roar and the breathing fire and all of that. So, are you guys fighters? Or are you guys bombers, fighter bombers? Or are you just a bunch of drones? So, what kind of cookie is appropriate for a battle hawk event?
Well, I mean, that's the question. I mean, would you do it as a battle hawk? Would you do it as a cookie, or would you do it more as like, because St. Louis is kind of known more. I mean, yeah. I mean, you have some people that say the battle hawk is a plane, right? You have some people that say it's an actual hawk. You know what I'm saying? So the St. Louis thing is still split. They say call is law around in St. Louis area, right? If you would do it as a cookie, it would have to be like a blueberry or blue raspberry type cookie. Uh, But I don't know like what other kind of flavor you could put in there. You know what I mean? On it. But I would lean more towards like an actual sandwich, right? Like an actual sandwich type thing, like a barbecue sandwich, like a baby back rib, kind of like a McRib type sandwich for the Battle
An,
Hawk.
an actual bone extracted rib sandwich, then.
Yes, because here in St. Louis, which I think is it's the dumbest joke. It was dumb in 2020. I get why it happened, where they talk about the Viper fans and how they go to the bathroom. But it's funny because now Viper fans are starting to retaliate and said, well, actually, we see a Battle Hawk right here standing up and going to the bathroom, and they put a picture of it, which I thought was funny. But yeah, I think it would have to be like something like that, a bone extracted type of sandwich. You know what I mean? Like one of our sweet mustard barbecue type sandwiches with a with a hint of like blueberry or raspberry in it. You know what I mean? I think that would be good. That's just my opinion.
Well, that's I mean, when you go to Pittsburgh, it's Pavetta Brothers. Everybody knows their sandwich chain around town. That's what they're known for. In
Mm-hmm.
Seattle, we're all about these small bakeries, various kinds of cuisine. By the way, if you guys ever get to Seattle, you truly have to go 2 blocks east of Lumen, and that's the
Okay.
International District. And there is just an absolutely amazing food that you will not find anywhere outside of Asia there. So, if anybody ends up coming to a game in Seattle, make sure you got the time to go, like I said, just a couple of blocks east of the stadium, and you're in this amazing, amazing international district. Uh, 20, 30 years ago, they would have called it Chinatown, but we have,
Oh, right
we
here.
have,
Andrew just said it right here for you. Beer can chicken. Yes, that would be it. That would be it for the Battlehawks. The beer can chicken. Yes, there you go. Thank you, Andrew. We could do beer can chicken here in St. Louis for the Battlehawks.
well, let's make it happen.
That's what. Yeah. Now go on back. You're saying to go. It used to be called Chinatown.
Well, and now we have such a diverse culture in King County, which is Seattle. 53% are immigrants now.
Oh wow.
53%. And we have Thai, we have Lao, we have Vietnamese, we have Filipino, we have Mandarin Chinese, we have Taiwanese, we have Japanese, we have Malaysians, we have Micronesia, you name any part. Indian, we have both the northern Indian, as in close to Pakistan, and the southern Indian cuisines and cultures here. It is just absolutely amazing how diverse our cuisine is here. And that's what we're becoming more known for. Whereas before we were meat, potatoes, and salmon. And salmon's still a big thing here, but
Mhm.
the Asian culture and those multiverse cuisines are really a thing now.
There you go. Okay, there you go. So now we've been talking about broadcasting teams and all that stuff, right? So I pulled up the ESPN football broadcasting, which I forgot that they only have Monday Night Football, right? But they have college game. They have the college football, right? So it's funny. There's only a couple names on here I recognize. And as for play-by-play studio host Chris Fowler is really the only name that sticks out to me, and Kevin Brown, right? The only two names. Now they have a lot of analysts. Oh, here comes. Oh, I was waiting for these guys to come. Get rid of them. Here comes our porn blockers. So just take them out. Now here's what I really like is the analysts that I would love to see some of these analysts. RG3 who does a great job on the Monday Night Football stuff, right? Brock Otwadler, another great analyst. I mean Tim Hasselback, of course. You got Herb Street, Eddie Royal. The one I find the most that I did not know it, but now I'm going to have to find a game and it seems like he is on the SEC network Saturdays. Is Deuce McAllister is now a football analyst. So I'm going to have to listen to him because I've always liked him as a player. So they have some great former players that they could use as analysts. But I mean, other than Steve Levy and Chris Fowler and Kevin Brown, who else is a big name to add credibility to the XFL broadcasting team?
Well, why don't you just go back and look at the Monday night roster prior to the last two guys showing up? They were rotating through hosts. I mean, there
Mm-hmm.
are some really good people in there. Their names escape me at the moment, uh, but the two guys previous to Steve Levy that had like 1 and 2 season stints, I still
Mm-hmm.
think they're great play-by-play people.
Yeah. So it's interesting to see. Now we only got 4 minutes left. Let's talk about big fan events, right? Uh, we're talking about getting the fans. Now, there is one coming up this weekend. Is that right? Is that this weekend? San
Yes,
Antonio?
the homegrown event in San Antonio at
First
MacArthur
one.
Park in
Yeah.
Pavilion 4.
Mm-hmm.
Totally homegrown, fan generated. I'm
Completely.
hoping that there are some people watching and listening and, might just do some drop in, drive by visits to the event. I'm really hoping for it.
Right. I mean,
I'm
like,
hoping
look.
that the league's paying attention.
Yeah. I mean, we know that the league, because we know the league watches the show, right? With the cookie giveaway thing and all that. But like they did that event, but this is a fan event that's been going on and on and on. And I got to give San Antonio a lot of credit for being a new fan base, right? How they have just grown exponentially. You know, when they started the page, I think there were only like a couple hundred people. Now they're like almost 5,000 fans following and liking the San Antonio Brahma page on Facebook. Definitely go and check it out because it's a really cool website. It's or Facebook page. They got the Brahma Mamas and all that. They're gonna have the Smoky Gun podcast. Arlington's making his appearance down there. How critical do you think that these guys are doing a fan based organ event, right? Because we did one here in St. Louis, tried to get Coach when Coach was in town. We didn't know Coach was in town, but Coach couldn't, apparently, Coach had a busy schedule and couldn't spare 5 minutes to come over. I get it. The dude was busy. It was right after it was announced, right? But how critical would it be that if I think it would be smart for the XFL and critical for them to engage the fan base. You've been at two fan events already in Seattle. You've seen it. How critical would it be for them to go to a completely grassroots move made fan event?
That'd be just like opening up the valves on 5 propane tanks at once. The inferno, the fire would be absolutely amazing. They would be cooking and smoking the rest of the fan bases with that kind of engagement in San Antonio. San Antonio. I have a second home outside of Seattle. I'm about an hour and a half south of San Antonio with my second home. So I
Right.
am
Okay.
very familiar with the city and the folks around there. And believe me, when they lost their AAF team, they did
Mm-hmm.
not lose their passion for opportunity football. And like I said, if the league can show up or bring some swag, maybe some of the draft hats or something, holy crap. You're going to see that 5,000 turn to 20,000 like St. Louis in
In a heartbeat.
an overnight explosion.
Yeah, and listen, and now, Mayor, you tell me if I'm not if I'm right on this or not, right? St. Louis, we shouldn't even be worried about the Vipers anymore. We should get rid of that. There's two teams that we should really be worried about, right? Taking over our fan base and the growth of our fan base. San Antonio. Now you might be a little biased to Seattle, but San Antonio and our true rival now should be the Arlington Renahawks because of who the head coach is, who's on their coaching staff, and who their players are. I mean, am I right? It should be one of those two teams. that
Well,
should be
I'm
our
I'm
rival.
I'm I'm still of the belief, and I don't know if I've said it publicly before or not, but
Mm-mm.
I think that when they set up the conference alignment,
Okay.
that the Texas Triangle and St. Louis should be the Central Division, and then they should set up a Pacific Division and an Atlantic Division. And while they're only running 8 teams, since they're
Mhm.
hubbing out of Arlington, combine the Pacific and the Atlantic to create the other 4 team division. And then as expansion happens down the road, expand those divisions back out to 4 and then maybe look at putting some more teams in the center. But for right now, I think that for an amazing season, an amazing rivalry would be having the Texas Triangle and St. Louis playing each other home and away during the 2023 season. I just think that would just be absolutely fire.
And then the Ranger King says, "Did we see that the uniforms are coming tomorrow?" Yeah, I mean, yeah, we saw that. We talked about that. But now we're talking about fan engagement. The XFL just tweeted it out. Well, I've been on the XFL webpage through the whole show, and I haven't seen where they said they tweeted it out yet. But I don't know. It's always something going on this show. You never know. The last thing I see tweeted out on my Twitter page, well, I'll just do this. But let's talk about this. So we're going back to the fan thing with the horns forward, and all that stuff, right? Uh, they're having their event, MacArthur's Park Pavilion 4. Oh, it says we got an announcement this week. Oh, it did say it. Okay, so here it is. Let me get to it. The XFL had put it right out there, and then I'm going to put it up there. So I'm glad somebody said something. So right there, sound on. We got an announcement this week. Tune in to Sports Center on ESPN tomorrow at 12 p.m., 1 p.m. Eastern, 12 p.m. Central, and 10 p.m. Pacific time. Team uniforms revealed. So
What day
there
was
you
that?
go. That's tomorrow at 3 o'clock. That they just
Huh?
3 minutes ago. They just tweeted it 3 minutes ago, and here it
Is
is, right
that
here.
like is that like
Man,
another
that's awesome.
Wednesday?
Wow.
Here we go.
Look at this. Woo. Wow, let's go.
Man, I'm super excited. I can't wait. Christmas come early.
I'm excited to see the new Renegades uniforms.
Better be the best uniform in the league has. All right, here we go. Oh, yeah.
Woo!
This is nice.
Ha ha!
Oh, no, that's awesome.
Wow. Look at this. Woo. Wow, let's go.
Yeah, that's nice. They did a wonderful job.
That's how you rep San Antonio, baby.
The logo, the colors. I love our colors, the blue, white, and gray.
Yeah, by far, this is the best uniform in the league by far.
Man, I'm super excited. I can't wait. Christmas
Oh.
come early.
I'm excited.
If you noticed, if you heard in the video, that was all the coaches. That was all the coaches talking in the
So
video.
so you guys are blue, white, and gray now. That was distinctly Coach Beck's voice.
Now, if you remember, Van, it was back in September when I said, "Hey, don't be expecting something." And rumor has it, I did some digging. Rumor had it that the uniforms were supposed to come out around between the 1st of September to the 12th of December, right? A lot of people said I was crazy and lying. Well, then, as we've seen, a lot of shakeups have happened in the XFL. Certain things happened on the merchandising end, and then what did they release? On September 13th, they released coaches' names, right? Now, if you go back and listen to Coach Beck in one of the videos, he says, "I've been waiting for this since February." So this was possibly supposed to be back in September, but then we ended up getting the coaching name because of turnover. Am I crazy? Am I crazy? Or am
No,
I a little bit right?
I think your crystal ball might have just a little bit of fog on the outside of it because it's not 100% focused, but it's pretty close to right most of the time. It's pretty close to right. And
Yeah.
tomorrow would be the anniversary of Pearl Harbor, a major day in to remember things. I think that here we go. They always
Well,
pick key dates that have significance, and
and it's funny
bam.
because I Googled that, and every year since 2016, The Rock has always went to Pearl Harbor and made a speech in Pearl Harbor to the vets. Every year since 2016, he's done that. So Pearl Harbor has a big significance to The Rock.
You want to know what also is significant about today?
December 6th.
Yes.
It's the only live fan show out there, the EX fan show, that you can find us on YouTube, Twitch, and Twitter, and Facebook.
I use my calendar on my phone a lot.
Mm-hmm.
4 years ago today, I did my season ticket deposits for the XFL. They
Really?
took deposits December 6th, 2018. I just had that reminder pop up on my phone.
That's funny. But I gotta say, thanks to Ranger King for telling me to refresh my Twitter thing to find that. So thank you, sir, for having us do that. We had been talking about that. It's funny. It's funny, man, how we were talking about that maybe uniforms are going to get released tomorrow, and then what happens? 4 minutes ago, they put out this video.
Big Brother's watching.
Maybe, I don't know. But back to what we were saying. Let's go back to the fan events because that's what I'm really loving. Is that San Antonio is doing theirs this weekend, December 10th at MacArthur Park, 10 o'clock to 3. Arlington from the X-Fan Show will be there. You have the Smoking Guns podcast will be there. The Brahma Mamas will be there. This is literally completely fan-base generated. All we're saying is that the league is smart, like Van said, will go there and open up 5 cans of propane and let the fire out. Now, Van, you ready for this, Mayor? So I'm going to show you something. If you look, December 10th, I'm gonna highlight this right here for I can't. It is going to be 78 degrees. 78 degrees in San Antonio. A beautiful day for this fan event. Am I right? 78 degrees, people. Now, if the league is smart, all right, Mayor, you're the mayor, right? You're the mayor. You've done a lot of this stuff. You've talked a lot of XFL and all that stuff, right? I'm going to have you make a pitch to the XFL on behalf of San Antonio because you were pretty much like the ambassador of the entire league, right?
I try to be.
You make a pitch to the league of why they should go to this event December 10th in San Antonio at MacArthur's Park from 10 to 3. Pavilion 4.
Hello, XFL leadership and officers of the organization. It is time to show San Antonio how much you love them, how much you care for them, and how much you embrace them. Show up, hang out, swag out, maybe even have somebody show up with some actual jerseys and let the fans touchy-feely and drool. And then, as Arlington would say, here's my money. Here's my money. Here's my money.
Take my money. Take my money. Take my money, as my partner would say. Ladies and gentlemen, this will conclude the X-Fan Show Afternoon Delight. I am Dirty, the most unprofessional professional on the internet. Joining me right over, which way? That way. Right over there is literally, if you don't believe me, that this man is not the mayor of the XFL, reach out to him on Twitter and stuff. You can find out if he's not the mayor. The one and the only Mr. Van Hurst. Man, I know you got a Facebook fan group that you do and all that stuff. Tell people where they can find that.
It is XFL Sea Dragons, SEA Dragons. Nothing else. There's other groups out there that include the word Seattle. Mine does not. It's a family friendly. If you get down there and discuss bodily functions or want to ridicule somebody, you're out of there. Hey, I want to touch on one last thing before we go. Folks,
Okay.
if you're going to support the league, don't buy the counterfeit knockoff stuff. I saw some fake Adidas Battlehawk shoes posted on one of the St. Louis Battlehawk fan pages that does nothing to support the league. And all they are, they look like crap. And somebody posted a link with a review to this manufacturer. And it turns out it's a Chinese knockoff company. So then people are going to say, where'd you get those shoes? Oh, they're crap, but they're Battlehawk shoes. Please save your money. Do buy officially licensed merchandise. The league is assuring us that the store is ever expanding. The draft hats are coming. Obviously, now with the big bomb that Dirty just let go with Ranger King there, the jerseys are coming.
Yeah, tomorrow.
Buy officially licensed quality gear and be happy with it. Don't want to be the first person to have something, be disappointed, and then talk poorly about it. Please support the league. Buy the tickets. Have a conversation with two people every day about why they should buy tickets and come to whatever team, whether you're the Orlando Guardians, the Vegas Vipers, the Houston Roughnecks, the Arlington Renegades, the San Antonio Brahmas, the Seattle Sea Dragons, or the DC Defenders. Talk to them, engage them. The more people that come, the more financially stable the league is, and the more we can grow. You got to admit, being in a full stadium is a lot more fun than being in an empty parking lot. With that, Dirty, I hope you have a great week, and we'll catch up with you again sometime.
All right, I'll see you next week. And it looks like we will be doing a show tomorrow, a special uniform reveal show right here on the X-Fan Show Afternoon Delight. So that will take care of the Wednesday night show. We'll be doing that tomorrow at 12 o'clock Central Standard Time. So with that being said, I am Dirty. That is the mayor of the XFL. Go over to the XFL, Sea Dragons page on Facebook. Go over there, like the page. And guys, listen, St. Louis, you guys want to infiltrate all these pages? Let's just show them why we are the most classy fan base and quit with the poop jokes. You guys could do it on other pages. Just let's not, but whatever. With that being said, I will see you guys tomorrow. Mayor, thank you for joining us. Guys, boys and girls, see you guys later.